When most people think of a garden, they think of a large area that has been cultivated with long, neat rows spaced 3 or 4 feet apart. However, there is an alternative to this type of conventional gardening. Gardening in raised beds. Raised meaning that the soil in the bed is higher than the surrounding soil, bed referring to the size of the garden. They were common practice before colonial times and are still the norm in many places in the world that have less tillable land or high population densities. Raised bed gardens require less space and can even be constructed on patios. This type of gardening is ideal for those with limited residential lot sizes or those living in townhomes, condominiums, or apartments. They require less stooping during weeding, watering, and other activities, and they're also great for people with limited mobility. When planning your raised bed garden, location is one of the first factors to consider. Bearing in mind that vegetable gardens will be most productive when planted in full sun, you'll want to choose an area that gets 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. However, if you don't have an area that receives that much sunlight, 4 to 6 hours of sunlight a day will be sufficient for many vegetables. Locate your garden away from trees if possible, so that tree roots will not compete with the flowers, herbs, and vegetables for water and nutrients. It is especially important that gardens not be located close to black walnut trees, since walnuts produce a compound in their roots, shoots, and leaves that is toxic to many other plants. Raised bed gardens may dry out more quickly and require more frequent watering than conventional gardens. Make sure that wherever you place your bed, water is readily available. At least 1 inch of rainfall or supplemental watering per week will usually be necessary to mature a vegetable crop. One solution to watering is to collect rainwater in a rain barrel. When watering, pour the water directly onto the root system and not onto the leaves of the plant itself. You can do this using a small scoop or container. Watering the entire plant, especially late in the evening, will allow water to remain on the foliage for several hours, which may promote disease problems. The garden beds are usually raised off the ground surface to a height of at least 6 to 8 inches. A frame to hold the soil can be constructed from materials such as wood, stone, concrete blocks, or bricks. Or you may prefer to simply mound the soil without a rigid structure. The use of treated wood for gardening is quite controversial. Some individuals are concerned that the chemicals in the treated wood may accumulate in the soil and garden plants. If using scrap lumber or other used materials, make sure you know if the lumber or materials are treated and what they have been used for in the past. Alternatives to treated wood include woods that naturally resist decay, such as cedar or redwood, also rock, masonry blocks, or synthetic materials such as Trex can be used. The size of the bed will vary depending on the gardener's needs and the space available. Beds are typically constructed no more than 4 feet wide, since this is the width that allows for an easy reach into the bed from either side. An aisle of 3 to 4 feet is maintained between beds to allow easy access with tools and equipment, such as wheelbarrows, hoses, chairs or stools, and wheelchairs. Raised bed gardens can be installed in areas that are difficult to garden conventionally, such as sites with shallow, rocky soil, steep slopes, or poor soil quality. One reason raised bed gardening is so productive is that you, the gardener, have control over the soil used in the bed. An ideal soil consists of equal parts of garden soil, blended compost, and porous material such as coarse vermiculite. If a good quality garden soil is not available, you can substitute additional organic matter. Once you have your soil mix, take a sample of the soil to your local cooperative extension office to have it tested. Depending on the test results, you may need to add lime or fertilizer. In traditional gardens, soils become compacted from tractors, tillers, and people walking on the garden. In a raised bed garden, the bed is constructed so that the gardener can easily access every inch of the garden without putting 1 foot in the actual bed. This eliminates soil compaction, which has been known to significantly reduce crop yields. Soils in raised bed gardens usually have better drainage than the surrounding area. So if you're looking for a solution for a poorly drained site, a raised bed may be the answer. Yard trimmings and food waste make up 20 to 25% of the waste going into landfills. This waste can be kept out of landfills by composting.